What's up?
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Country Junkies, Rob and John. Oh, yeah.
Hello, guys. We're live. So today's a kind of different type of episode. I'm interviewing Fran from Savage Ladies of Metal. So, Fran, you want to say hello to the lovely people that are watching?
What's up, everyone? Very special edition. I'm known for having them all the time now because of my luck with podcasts, which we're back in line. We're back ready to start again. But Rob is actually interviewing me. Find out the story about how the Savage Ladies were created. What was happening, what gave me that idea to start what apparently is something that's grown into be a lot bigger than I ever expected. So, the story of the Savage Ladies of Metal.
So we'll get into that.
Yeah.
What? So how did you get the name? Like, what struck there for Savage Ladies of Metal?
You know what? I have no idea. That I can't answer. I was probably really stoned, but what I was thinking about at that time when the Savages were created, I had to really preoccupy my mind. And something just fell next to me. I don't know what that was. Okay. I had to really preoccupy my mind, and we'll get into that later. Why? But it just came to me. I don't know. It was just like all of a sudden, just like Savage. I was like Savage Ladies, and I just kind of went with that. And I'm like Savage Ladies of Metal. I'm like that has a ring to me, and it just felt like I felt. How sometimes you feel like you have an epiphany.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I felt like. When I said it, it was like something smacked me. Like yes. And I looked up, but I didn't think Savage yet. I was thinking Ladies of Metal. Now, and a lot of people know what the Ladies of Metal is. It's not what I didn't know that existed yet until I went to Google and I Googled Ladies of Metal. For the guys who don't know, now you do. Go check it out after the podcast. And found that it's they're bikini models. They're all metalhead chicks, beautiful metalhead chicks that are models, always in bikinis, doing their thing. Nah, my style. Never has been. So I was like, I got to come up with something else. I can't be that same thing. Even though we're all metalheads, I have to represent something else. And mine's not modeling. Besides the repping of the, which Olga owns the title for that the most. And I love her for that. I do have a shit ton of shirts, but I'm always in work shirts, except lately.
Yeah.
Now I got the Suffering on today. See? Suffering. So that's Scott Davidson. But I totally lost myself in the question.
So was your first concert ever a metal show, or it was something else?
It was actually. I didn't go to my first metal concert until I was 17. Ozfest 97. It was the last one Pantera ever played, and it was in Wisconsin at Alpine Valley. 1997, Ozfest. That was my first concert. The first time I ever saw Marilyn Manson. That was some interesting shit. Because he's not like he is now. It was the beginning Marilyn Manson where everyone was just like, some of us were like, I get it.
So what got you into the metal scene out of all the scenes?
Actually completely unintentionally, believe it or not. I've always been like everyone knows, I'm very musically well-rounded. I grew up with breakdancers for brothers. I grew up in hip hop. My mom listened to Italian music and Elvis. Dad listened to Chubby Checker and shit like that. My brothers, dancers from the 80s and 90s. I grew up very well mixed, but I started hearing Metallica, Ozzy, shit like that, because of Q101. And, started learning. I'm like, I like this. And I started meeting friends that liked Pantera and shit like that. And then somebody, when I was 16, met somebody, moving past that detail, introduced me to Slayer. Done. Done. I was like, yes. I was so in. I'm like, I want more. I want to know more. But it was a slow progress for me. It really was, because I was used to always just being around dance music and shit. But I was hanging out with more and more metalheads, going more and more on that side. It just, I'm hearing all their music, and I'm like fucking loving band after band after band. But officially, probably about 10, 15 years, at least 15 years ago. But what introduced me to it was a gentleman that I actually met at when I worked for a Halloween store, Spirit Halloween. And
Really?
yes, yeah, I was like 25, I think, 25, and I worked for Spirit Halloween for a year, and it was fun. And I met a gentleman there, coworker, didn't date him, nothing like that. Ended up becoming one of my closest friends. Frank Horvath, when he long before the Revival Fest was created, which a lot of people know about, especially from the Midwest. And I met him. He was part of a band that still kind of exists. It's called they're called Orion 9. And wow, that's some memories. It was a while ago. And he was in the scene, and he's like, come to a show, and I'm like, okay. I was already going through my first divorce, and I was starting to be like, I'm getting out. I'm going to do shit. And it just hung out, basically. I loved the people. I hung out just like anybody else. And I started getting used to seeing them more and more, because I was always hanging out with Frank and whoever he was dating at one point. Now he's been with Ashley for like ever. But he introduced me, and I was slowly getting brought in more and more. And when Revival was created, I was coming around virtually every year. Like, I skipped, I think, 1 or 2 years in the beginning, but then I was there all the time. It became a part of me after so many years of seeing, being more and more exposed as he's growing. I'm just coming around, hanging out, and I'm like, hey, do you need help? Because I'd see it's not easy fucking in the music scene. I mean, it is some tough shit that's involved. It is fun. It is a lot of games. But it's also very tiring and never ending. I mean, there's just 20 things coming at you on what you can do, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, how you should do it, which way you should go, who you need to avoid, how you got to treat this. It's all tied in one way or another. Now, you get more and more involved. There's more and more chaos. I do more than just podcasts. I do booking, I do promoting, I'm an MC. I do, and then I do I'm a partner with you one day a week, and then I got the Savage podcast whenever the hell it decides to work. Which we're back. We are back. Starting this Sunday, we are coming back with Queen of Dreams. Yes. And it just became a part of me. Well, eventually, Revival lasted 9 years, and I did make it to the 9th show, which no one expected. That's another story. But that's how I got brought in. Basically, Frank Horvath introduced me to the music scene, and I just kept hanging out with a lot of the same people. It just became a part of me, and I started loving the music, loving what they're doing, and I just started helping out. And the more I helped out, the more I started learning shit. And Frank would come to me, he'd be like, hey, help me decide this. And he'd start teaching me shit. I didn't think I was learning. I thought I was just hanging out, helping a friend, partying, And apparently, I learned a lot more than I realized. I didn't know I was learning, but apparently, every day I think about this guy. I haven't talked to him in a couple of years. A lot of things have happened in the last 5 years, technically. And, we became distant, and it sucks, but I still love the man. I miss him to death. I know one day we're going to see each other soon. I'm hearing a lot of shit. That's all I know. And I'm like, well, he's coming back. I don't know. Should I say that? It's not official. That's just me assuming something's happening. But that's how I got introduced to the music scene. And Savages still were not a thought during that whole time. Not a single thought. Nope. Never thought ever a day in my life that I would that I would create something like this. That's only technically 4.5 years old. The thought. And Savages turned 4 November 18th. We just turned 4. I didn't say nothing to anyone. Savages, it was our birthday last month.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. Thank you.
So what are we with the match on pursuing everything into the bigger schemes of things?
That's one hell of a way to put it. You mean, when did the Savages start moving forward?
Yeah, the
when it happened, the thought.
yeah, like the entire thought of I'm doing this and we'll see what happens.
Something, one thing I thought about, I want to say probably maybe a few months before I started moving forward with the idea, is it crossed my mind to do something for the local metal scene, for the Chicago scene, and a lot of Wisconsin, because I was there by that, up to almost 4.5 years ago. I already knew hundreds and hundreds of bands everywhere. The Midwest, forget it. I already knew a bunch of them, and I met so many more over the last 15 years. I've been around technically 17 years in the music scene. And I met a lot of amazing bands, and I'm still meeting them, and I will continue to. I wanted to help the music scene more, and I was like, the women need to step up. Now, every time I say this is actually a controversial sentence I'm about to say, and women need to chill the hell out. Okay, some women will flat out be like, "You don't think the women are a thing now?" No, they are now, but we're still a small percentage in the music scene. And I want to be another female that steps up into the metal scene and say, hey, I'm going to actually help get your voice, get your band's music heard, get your name out there. I want to be able to help. So let's help our friends and start just promoting. We'll create a page. And I came up and I told them, I said, we'll do the Savage Ladies of Metal. And a few of the ladies I talked to, the original Savages, which I talked to 2 of them still. And they all loved it. They loved it, and they're just like, fuck yeah, let's do this. And I was like, okay, just share flyers, just start doing that, and the immediate area, they loved it. They're like, that's cool as hell, because I always had a shit ton of friends. Plus you add a few other women, that's that many more friends. Other women that have 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 friends. You have 4 of us, that's 20,000 immediate promotion. And we're all still somehow connected to the music scene. So It gets around. We're already connected to other pages and other groups, from being in it, from a revival and being in part of so much. That's, that blows up quick. And I'm like, that can be great for the immediate area. That's all I was thinking, immediate area. Let's just do this. That was the whole start of the idea. But nobody did it right. At first I just kind of mentioned it. They're like, yeah, that's a great idea, but I didn't pursue it. When I finally decided to pursue it is when I was fighting for my life and didn't know what was going to happen next to me. I was in a major car accident. And this is a very hard story for me to tell because every day I still have to live with the long-lasting effects that are still very much persistent and exist every day. The pains I feel, what I go through physically in a lot of ways. And a lot of that is from the car accident. The problems with my leg. Everyone knows about my leg issues. I always bitch about that. My leg was crushed into 23 pieces, mostly around the kneecap. The kneecap was split into 3 chunks. My leg was ripped open, and that was the least of what happened to me. I was in a car accident, and it was not my fault. And I was not partying. I was completely sober. I just dropped my kids off at their dad's. I had them for several hours, and I brought them to their dad's for the night. That was the last thing I remember that night, because apparently the accident happened 5 minutes after I dropped my children off. Yeah, and that's still count my blessings on it ever so much. I have 2 daughters. One's gonna be 22. One's gonna be 17. There's 3 of me. Sorry, guys. But during the recovery of that accident is when I decided to start pursuing the idea. That accident, It took me several months to actually get to that point, to start pursuing it, because the accident actually almost killed me. It literally, I had a severe brain hemorrhaging coma and had multiple broken bones in my right arm. I had 2 broken bones in my right arm. My leg was completely crushed. My foot, my foot was smashed, but no bones were broken, but there was a lot of breakage. My left leg had 12 giant splints and was in one giant cast. The only limb I had that wasn't in a giant cast, almost 3/4 body cast, was my left arm, and I'm not left-handed. And I was in a brain hemorrhaging coma and full-blown life support. My vitals were dropping daily, and I couldn't breathe. I was on lung support, lung support and heart support. And they said that I did wake up at one point after 2 days, but my mom said I woke up flipping shit. She said I woke up like pissed. Like when I realized I was in pain, she said I snapped. And when I realized I couldn't move because I was in a giant, half body cast, that she said I looked so confused, like what the fuck just happened to me? And she said they came in real quick and put my ass out. I was getting violent, apparently. Who would have thought? And they put me in a medical coma to keep me down because I was apparently in a lot of fucking pain. And my head hit the steering wheel of my car. The fucking airbag blew after my head hit the steering wheel. And that is what put me into the brain hemorrhaging coma. The doctor said that I hit myself on the head in the only spot that is probably the reason why I'm still alive today. Dead center. The hardest part of your forehead. He said my head must have been perfectly straight when it happened, and I just went down. According to witnesses, I was at a red light, and I was at the front of the line. And this was actually in Bartlett, Illinois. And the witness report said I was in the front of the line at the red light, and I was doing my makeup. But that's nothing new either. And that's when the accident happened. There was a kid who came from the other direction. He should have been at the red light also, but apparently he was answering a cell phone text. He admitted in court that he received a text and he was reading it when he crossed the intersection. And when he looked up, it was too late. He already veered into the oncoming traffic side, but there was no traffic. We were at a dead stop. I was the one that was directly in his path. I don't remember anything. I don't remember none of that. I don't remember the first 3 months. And I have little blips and images. But what I think I remember, my mom validates. A lot of people said something, a lot of things did happen. But I can't. It's just images. And they have to fill in the stories. And the stories that they told me, of the tears, and me asking them every day, am I going to survive? I couldn't talk for several months after the accident because it literally came back from the dead. The day they decided that we're going to pull the plug, because I always told my family to never leave me on any machine. Just pull the plug. The 4th day, the doctors did my vitals while I was in a coma, and they said I was down to 10% brain activity. I was gone. And my parents said, we'll set the time up. It's this close. And it's you look at me, you would never know that.
No.
That was me 4.5 years ago, literally hanging by a string. And for months that I couldn't talk and I couldn't get out, I had to, when my arm healed, I was able to start writing again. But I remember trying to train myself how to write with my left hand because my right arm was broken. And I had problems talking. And I could hear the things that I would hear, and I can't respond except make emotions. And when the doctor looked at me and said, we don't know what's going to happen with you with the severe brain injury you had. The fact that you're here right now is a miracle in itself. We don't know if they didn't know if I was going to make a full recovery, if I'd be able to talk again. None of everything you see that's considered normal life,
Yeah.
I didn't know. And one thing they kept saying was, you'll never walk again. You will never be able to walk again. Not without help,
You proved them wrong, though.
Stubborn as always. Even while fighting for my life, I'm like,
Yeah.
watch me. And apparently that's exactly what I said to the doctor when they realized that I was recognizing what they were saying by my emotions. My mom was the one who called it out, saying she understands what we're saying. She's freaking out. The doctor looked at me. He's like, do you understand what I'm saying? And I'm like, and he's like, you'll never walk again. And when I think that was the first time that it actually registered in my head, I'll never forget that moment. I remember it because it was just like right around the 4th month after the accident. And I was already starting to talk, but not well yet. And I remember I just started shaking because the idea that I might survive and never be able to walk again. I mean, it fucked me up, just like anyone. So anyone who is living that life, this, I'm sure you understand if it happened to you and you're not used to it, yeah, you can freak out. So this is nothing that I mean to offend anyone by, but it's just traumatizing. Not knowing, am I going to wake up the next day? Every night I begged my mom for the first year not to give me my medicine to put me to sleep because I was afraid I was not going to wake up to see my little girls again. And I wanted to use the girls as my motivation to keep fighting, that it's not just for my life, it's for theirs. And to show that no matter what the fuck happens to you in your life, you get the fuck back up and sacrifice everything if you have to get there. The Savage Ladies of Metal were born. And I started pushing it. And a lot of people took to it right away. I mean, if I remember correctly, we had like 1,200 followers in a week. Boom, just instant. It's like, the fuck? And girls came and went in the last few years. And a lot of people ask, why can't you keep Savages that long? Well, the longest running one is Marla. What's up, Marla? Marla's the longest running Savage, 2.5 years strong. She's out of Southern Indiana. She's always by the Louisville scene and shit like that, Indianapolis. But just like band members, we go through ladies. It's hard to find ladies who actually are into the scene at that level. I mean, it doesn't have to be crazy intense like me, or Marla. But
so, what is your application process look like? Like, what exactly are you looking for?
For more Savages?
Yeah.
We are always game for more Savages. First and foremost, I mean, you got to have a personality. Definitely got to have a personality. I mean, you could be bitchy, but you can't be a bitch. There's a difference. If you can't be social, you got to be sociable. You got to be cool to hang out with. You got to be fun. Basic shit. Definitely be outgoing. You got to have a love and passion for the scene, not just say, I love going to shows. And you're not, you got to be a part of the music scene somehow. We do want to have I want ladies that do have experience, that actually are involved more in the scene, not just going to concerts, but are admins or, like strongly in other groups that have a lot of followers. It didn't matter, just women that you see their faces a lot more involved in the scene. It could be anybody. Got to be involved, got to have the love and passion. And I mean, we started out and still do it today with basic promotions. Whenever we see shows that come up, our friends bands, our friends send us the links, or they send us the actual flyer, and we put it up, randomly whenever we want. When they send it, like whenever I get sent stuff, I put it up right away. I just get it's like, okay, I got 2 seconds, boom, I get that out.
Same here.
But I see shit on the timelines too. When I actually have the time to search the timeline, I do see flyers and shit, invites. And half of them are just invites I haven't even noticed in my notification yet. But I'm just like, boom, I'll share it. It doesn't matter if I heard your band. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter if you're in a different state. Same thing with the ladies. You don't have to be in Chicago because metal is everywhere. There's no reason why it has to stay in one spot. There's no reason why we have to stay in one spot. You know, we can have our own states. Just, you know, there's quite a few big names that do, you know, go coast to coast. You know, we got, of course, Rock Rage Radio, which everyone knows that I am strongly affiliated with now, you know. Of course, you know, we got Scott Davidson. He's known fucking everywhere by everyone. International, you name it. I mean, he's a badass, and that's fucking Rebel Radio. You know, there's, you know, Metal Mouth Radio. He's well known here, and that's Neil. He's well known in the Midwest and Chicago area as a strong, hardcore metal supporter and shit. You know, people who are more involved. We got to have that. You got to drive. Sorry. You know, unless you live like really close, there's only so much we can do. And don't trust my car. I'm just saying. Don't, you know, you can say, Frank, I can say, I'll come get you, but nothing's guaranteed. Not with that car. But most importantly, here's the thing is when I talk to the ladies, I tell all of them the same thing. I want consistency still. I want to see action. I'm not saying it has to be 10 times a day, but post a couple of flyers minimum a week. We're all part of the scene, as a lot of us are different parts of the scene, which is perfect for what we represent, which is everything. It's not just thrash. It's not just metal. We represent everything and always have from day one. And that's anything from punk to the hardest of metal. I don't give a fuck what next generation comes up with the next fucking name for it, okay? It's changing every fucking 5 years, it seems like. But everything. And I love it all. Again, musically well-rounded. But metal took over my heart a long time ago. That's, you know, that's just where I stand now. And so I lost myself again. Unfortunately, I'm going to explain something real quick. What just happened to me again, this is now the second or third time in the interview. I have glitches from my brain injury. And surprisingly, I mean, you see how I am. I mean, obviously I'm fine. You know, I wouldn't say I'm normal, but I'm fine. But I have glitches. I have moments I forget things, and sometimes it's like, what am I doing? Doesn't happen often, but it does, and I tend to lose myself and just forget what was just being talked about. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, I forget to, you know, what was said," all the time. This is different. I did too, but it's just very different, and I can tell. So bear with me. Sometimes I just lose myself, and if I didn't talk so much, maybe I wouldn't. I'm calling myself out on that one. At least my hands aren't moving yet. It's because I'm playing with a lighter. I'm keeping them busy. Yeah, speaking of which, I was going to say that. Another rare thing, seeing how when I'm interviewed, this shit's happening. And I thank you, Rob, for not giving me shit. If we can interview the bands and they can smoke their cigarettes, that's my little gray area. I'm slipping through that crack too. But so yeah, the Savages were. It was never a thought to go what I'm doing now. It never really was. The only thing I wanted to do was distract my mind and have two motivations to keep me moving forward and trying more and getting up and doing it again and fighting to take my life back, literally word for word. And my motivations were my children and the music. And the more I kept pushing on the Savage idea with the flyers, it was getting around. I was starting to meet more and more people, not just from the Midwest, but further, other countries, you know. After about, let's see, year and a half, maybe, something like that, I got a message. Really didn't want to talk about this one, but I'm going to be that dick. I got a message from somebody who no longer has a brand. Let's just say that. She closed her brand down recently. I heard shit. I don't know. It had nothing to do with it, but I heard about it. She reached out to me when she still existed. Basically, let me, introduce American bands to Europe. Let me introduce some Europe bands to America. Made sense to me because I was starting to get more and more into cross promotions. I still wanted nothing to do with booking. I still wanted nothing to do with podcasts. I was just like, okay, I'll do a little bit more promotions. Maybe something will happen.
Well, here we are now.
Yeah. See how that shit works out?
I know.
Anytime, this is literally what a lot of my friends say. They're like, if you say you're not going to do something, especially
You're going to do it.
Especially if it's for the Savages, it's going to probably happen. I'm not going to say yes to anything.
You're going to do it. You're going to take pictures, and this is what.
Well, needless to say, the situation arose, actually, that pushed me to actually buy the name and own it outright after a year and a half, after just barely 2 years. And it was because of that one person and one other person, actually, because they knew I didn't actually own the name yet. And immediately my ass moved. And that's when I actually decided, you know what? I'm going to get the booking license too. Legalize my name, LLC. I got the legal licenses. I am legally licensed. I'm just saying. I know a lot of you play you are. Not calling out, but not, most of the time it doesn't matter if you're a band. I mean, it's totally different. But I got the license for everything, and I was like, I don't know why I even got a booking license. I'm not booking, and that's when everyone went, And sure enough, the first show I booked was actually last summer, August 14th. Last summer, it was at Penny Road Pub. For those who know the Chicago area, yeah, Penny Road is. The building's still there, but Penny Road is no more. It was actually my birthday show. That was the first show I booked. I wouldn't say never, because I've learned a lot of lessons that night. It was my birthday, and it was also one of my other now ex-Savages' birthdays. Me and her only 5 days apart. And it's Amy. If everyone knows Amy, she was the tall, skinny blonde, 6'2", fucking tall as fuck, and very wild and crazy. And it was our birthday. That was the first mistake.
You don't.
But so yeah, now here we are. Basically, over a year later. It's now December 2022. Year and a half later, and I am now the assistant talent buyer for the WC Social Club in West Chicago. And we are in the process. We've already been throwing a couple of concerts the last couple of months, and got some really killer shows coming up. So I'm definitely excited, and it's not going to become a normal thing. It already is. And we've already got ideas on what's next. I mean, I'm stoked. Wait till you guys see the shit that I come up with. But I never expected any of this. None of this. Especially this. I actually hate being on camera. And I've told people that before, and I'm working on it. I'm trying. Here I am. I'm trying. But I'm ready to do more. I'm in.
So, do you have any advice for ladies and maybe say gentlemen that want to get starting on the booking aspect or any of promotions? And
I can't tell my secrets on booking. That's my business.
Okay, I'm not saying per se secrets, but
you really okay?
Like words of encouragement. It doesn't have to be
Definitely,
secrets.
you need to have patience, because booking.
I'm gonna say this on my end. I'm gonna say this on my end, and we've had this conversation.
Yeah.
Not it. Not gonna happen. Not it. I will help with anything. I will help with anything else.
The Savages, we will always be here to help all the bands grow. The more we grow and get bigger, we're bringing them with us, and we have more than proven that. I've been saying that now for 4 years, and I think I have proven that I am going to do exactly what I say I'm going to do. And if it's something I haven't even said yet, it's probably going to happen. I'm going to try. I'm not perfect. I might fuck up here and there, but you know what? It's going to happen to everyone. And I just want to do more, and I'm ready to just literally spread the Savage. It's kind of a 50-50 thing to say, but there's no reason why we should only book shows here in Chicago, and we want to book shows in other cities. Hence, have other ladies. The ladies can help. a chance for women to also make money on that end. You help book a Savage show in your city. You can make money because you can be doing most of that work. You know, I'll just help along the way. Shit can be done. There are ways to make money. You just got to want to be able to do it. But the most basic thing, you know, I expect from day one is promotion. The whole basis of why we started. The occasional flyer here and there, you know, and there's a lot now, you know, try to keep up. But you know what? We're not going to get to all of them every time. You might see them once or twice. And then the day of the show, I try to get the ones up that real quick. Sometimes I can't. Life happens still. Even though I have many jobs and everyone knows this, I'm on the road. I'm a driver. And I do a lot of that in between everything. It's hard for me to keep up with a lot of shit. Hence, also great having other Savages. The only problem is they have their own lives too. So when I'm available and blowing them up, we're like, what the fuck? You know, they're probably working or doing something. You know, it's like everyone's got their own life and it gets chaotic. But I need women who actually can hold their shit together still. Everybody's life gets chaotic. Everyone gets sick. Everyone comes and goes. You know, I get that. But if nothing is going wrong and you agree to promotions, and if you are your own business and you directly affiliate with the Savage and you become one, or you're a band member or something like that, and I come through on my end of the deal and help promote your name and get you out there, but then you don't turn around and do much of anything or anything at all to drop mine, that's a problem. That's an automatic, and I'm just saying because it happens all the fucking time. But most of the women, some of them are, can do it. But there's been a lot that, had to walk away. They're like, we don't realize how much is actually on the back end of that. And I'm like, even promotions. I mean, it's what we do on our side of promotions. It's not the same of just a band promoting themselves. We're promoting hundreds, and doing a hell of a lot more in between. Everything that is done with Savages is done on my schedule, including the podcast. That's based on when I'm available, not them. If they're available, like Marla tries to get on, but a lot of times she's not.
There's more behind the scenes than people know.
There's always more to the story.
Yeah.
It is what it is, but we're always looking and we're growing. And I'd love to have ladies, if you're local, that'd be killer also, because we do a lot of appearances. We do, we do Rebel Bingo, every Monday. I try to make it every Monday, but if my car lets me, I can make it more often. But, there's, Graveside Chicago, Rebel Radio, Savage Ladies Under One Roof, virtually every Monday. And that's really cool. It's like we're like three of the most well-known, Chicago, Midwest area, booking agents, and we're all really good friends. We're all from generally the same area. And it's, it's funny. You go to Rebel Bingo, you can win fucking free tickets to concerts. Who the fuck wouldn't want to do that concert? And you have multiple choices. It's not just the grand prize. It's every time no matter who wins, it's like, here, you got 5 tickets you can choose from, or you can hit the merch table. Every time,
if I was in Chicago, you'd be seeing me, but
every Monday, I know, right?
No, what do we every Monday? I mean, yeah, not unless the Giants are playing a Monday Night Football game, I'd be there. But except for that,
it would be on, but it'd be in the back. But it's like the way the bar is. I mean, it's a huge bar. But the TVs are behind where Rebel Bingo is played. But if you're sitting on one side of the table, you can see the TVs, but they're at like a 50-foot distance.
I'll have to make it out there one day.
Yeah, one day it's gonna happen. You and I get together.
Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna be able to keep up. I'm just saying.
No, I'm not going to. I know certain people. I'll be honest. I know certain people that want to hang out. I know I'm not at their level. The old me, yes. Me now, no. What was the best advice you were ever given?
Believe it or not, something. There's 2 things I always heard my dad tell me. Fran, you do whatever the fuck you want, because I never listened.
You?
No, I was an angel child. That's why I was, That's why I was in an all-girls Catholic boarding school, because I was such a good girl. Yeah, that's a story in itself. Yes, I am a legit ex-Catholic schoolgirl. Didn't last long. I was in and out in a year and a half. They were like, you got to go. But yeah, lost myself. I totally forgot where I was talking about again.
The question was the best advice you ever given.
Best advice, yeah. Oh, the other one was you do you. How many times do you people? Does everyone hear me say you do you? I don't say that to be a smartass. Some people think I am. I'm not. I legit mean you do you, but also think about the consequences of everything you do.
Oh yeah, I mean,
it was, I'm not going to go into detail when I say that to somebody, but sometimes there's people that do things that you do agree with, and then somebody else might say, "Well, I would do it this way." Well, you do you. To each their own. But then there's the you do you where you might not agree with how somebody thinks or what they say. I'm not going to start a fucking little bitch fight over shit unless it's something that's like really big. But even if it's something I'm like, really? You do you, man. That's me with like a different kind of, distaste, I guess you could say. But you do you is a very common thing, and I never understood it until I got older. And my dad's like, one day you'll be able to read between those lines. And I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But, of course, one other thing he has always said is the same thing a lot of parents ever do. If you ever get knocked down, get the fuck back up. When you stop, he actually said this against me recently. He said, when you stop trying, you're the only reason for your failure. Don't give up. And that's exactly what I did. The entire time, my dad's words, just everything was always running through my head because I couldn't talk a lot of it. I couldn't say a lot of it for the longest time. I couldn't walk straight, for those who are wondering. I had multiple surgeries. They kept trying. And then one day, I walked. I didn't stop. I fell so many fucking times. My mom would scream in tears because she had to be the one to take care of me for my recovery. I was married, technically, at the time of that accident. But I was in the middle of a really nasty divorce. So my now ex-husband, number 2, moved out the day I came home from the hospital. When the hospital finally said I can go home for recovery. When he moved out that night. My mom was immediately told, get your shit. You're coming home. My mom ended up moving in with me because I was basically left for, I don't want to say it, but I'm not going to say it. He left me for dead, but I did just say it. So he literally moved out when my parents said, you got to take care of him. He said, no, I don't. He packed his shit and left. I owe my life to my mother, my father, my mom. God, the things that you can't communicate, you can't do anything. I couldn't take a shower without help. I couldn't go to the bathroom without help. I couldn't feed myself for the longest time without help. And to not be able to communicate any of that, to have no control over you, is a feeling that I would never wish on my fucking worst enemy. The things that I felt, the tears I cried, the surgeries after surgery, fight after fight, and then going through a massive divorce. Oh, while that was happening, he's still not put everything on hold. Oh, okay, she's using a walker now. Let's go back to court. I moved that quick. But and smile, I'll never get married again. Done. Savage Ladies Metal story is a pain. It's not a pain. It's turned into an amazing blessing. I feel like for the first time, finally, that maybe I found my calling. I love what I do. I love the bands and the musicians. I even love the fact that you're a pain in the ass when it comes to booking. That's why I hate booking. And, but I love it. I love it. And you meet so many amazing fucking people in here. I got family that I haven't even met yet. that I consider closer than my cousins who are my flesh and blood. I'm just saying that's right. That should say enough.
Yeah.
You know, I love what I do, and I want to do more, and I want to grow, and I want to take everyone with me. And if I can expand the Savages, I can help in other states when I can't be there. But I do want to try to be there. I do. You know, and the idea of managing a couple of bands, quite a few bands have reached out to me about possibly managing their bands. They're like, but they want to be a part of the Savage name, and they love what I do, and I'm doing more and more every time. But I don't really. I'm not against the idea of management. I just don't want to become a management company. I don't want to be the one. I'm going to end up being the only one that's doing it. See, and I don't want to end up with like 15 bands and be like, you want to see Rage? You want to see like Rage Cunt? I'll show you. If I'm that overwhelmed, plus everything I do, I don't. You know what? Maybe in 5 years, I will be able to do that. Who knows? I'm saying I'm never going to do it now. So in 5 years, I'm like, but I got to build myself. I have to build myself up here because this was not planned 2 years ago. None of this was planned 2 years ago. And every year, I'm like, I'm going to try this, and then it works. How can I make it better? Try this. You don't know until you try. And I'm learning. If I can't live in fear, because if I lived in fear, I cried every day because I lived in fear, and I fought for my life because I wanted my children to see that as there is no reason why you should ever let yourself fall. It doesn't matter if it's in life. It doesn't matter if it's over a man. Get the fuck back up and fight. It's not about who you fight for, but yourself. Your mind is more dangerous and more of a threat to you than your fucking enemy. And even in death, walk away, flicking that motherfucker off, just like I did. I love it. I love what the Savages are becoming. It's more than I ever dreamed. I mean, I never even thought of, let alone dreamed, and I can't wait to see what's next. And
speaking of what's next, don't you have a lot of shows going on?
I got some really cool shit going on. Yes, I do. Yeah, we are going to start throwing shows once every month at the WC Social Club in West Chicago. Again, assistant talent buyer. But there's so much more already planned. I remember telling Chris actually just the other day, I said, I'm going to step back from booking for the WC because we're booked into February. And I'm like, I've got other things I need to kind of pay attention to now. And I said, I have to prepare for the Sepsis tour because I plan on taking Sepsis on tour twice next year. And they're going to be short spouts. We're going to do a quick, small, like 10, 11 day, maybe 11 day little mini tour in spring and again in the fall. And I'm not going to talk about the details beyond that. And yeah, so I'm bringing that, so right now we're in the process of getting that shit kick-started, and we're starting with spring, of course. But also while doing that, of course, my ass, sure enough, 2 days later, hits up Chris, and I'm like, so I got these 2 ideas. Check this shit out. And he's like, yeah. I just picture his face, reading the text like, yeah. I try not to think, but it's happening. And you know what? I love it. I finally have something I can consider a goal in my family, not just to help my kids and teach my daughters to stand strong in life and be ready to fight, even when you're scared shitless. Stand and fight, or sit and fight in my case. But eventually I worked my way up, But I'm just really happy, and I've met some amazing people, and I have some amazing partners, and there's so much more that's happened. They're in my life. I got you in my life, thank you for being part of my life. And you found me, and I was just like, okay, why not? I was totally game for it, and look at us now. Aw,
yeah.
And then of course there's Jay Lambs Ramey. Come on, Circus of the Dark. I mean that crazy nutball. He is an amazing guy in the scene, though. He's got an awesome, fun-loving personality. He's a goofball, but he is badass at what he does, and he does it at a mass level. You know, people say, you know, look at me and say, how the fuck? I look at him and go, are you real? You know, he does a lot of shit, you know, and I mean, I hate saying this now. I don't want to do 50 radio stations. I'm not a radio DJ. Difference, I'm not.
You say that.
Has broadcasting.
You say that now. You say that
It has
now.
been talked about. That's about all I could say.
You say that now.
Yeah.
I give it a couple months.
Months.
I give it a couple months. I give it a couple months.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. But yes, we actually have a show coming up this Saturday. This Saturday at the WC Social, of course. WC Social Club, we got a killer show. It is Krampus Christmas with Savage Ladies of Metal. And our headlining act is Losing September. Our co-headliner is Saint Tragedy. And then we got Dark Sun coming in from fucking Rockford. And then, of course, we have DuPage, local bad boys, plus Grandpa. I love you, Grandpa. Unlikely Souls. And, you know, it's going to be really fun. It's going to be, you know, it's all hard rock metal, killer show, all original bands. Mostly from, they're all from the Midwest. All from the Midwest, you know. Saint Tragedy is from Wisconsin. Unlikely Souls is from here. Losing September is from Indiana. And Dark Sun, again, is from Rockford. They're from here.
Yeah.
And we may or may not have a surprise pop in. That's all I'm going to say. And it's just going to be a really killer night. Looking forward to it, you know. So get your cramp on. Dress up. Also, it is a Toys for Tots event. Also, I am definitely all for donations and helping people out. I mean, everyone knows that. I mean, I had the autism fundraiser, you know, and I wish I could have done so much more with that. I want to do more into that, but I need help. That's not something I can do by myself. I literally almost lost my shit.
So since we talked about Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
me and you have a major Christmas party on the 21st.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
3 podcasters and 7 bands.
Yep. There's going to be 10 of us on a Concert Junkies Christmas special or holiday special. I don't care what you call it. It's whatever. But, yeah, we did this last year, and it was a lot of fun. There was, 5-6 bands?
And 2 live performances this year.
And it was cool as hell.
Yeah, this year it's not no live performances.
Yeah, we can't do that because of copyright infringement bullshit when it's the band's music, who's singing it, who owns it live. Just saying.
Yeah.
Fucking retarded.
Go figure on that one.
Yeah.
So.
But, yeah, that's going to be cool. And who do we got coming on that? You know that list a lot better than I do because you planned it out.
We have Dying Oath, Forever May Fall, Carbon Stone, Anoxia, 50 Flies, The Coursing, and I hope I'm not forgetting anybody else. And Sebastian from The Loud Spot. Mm-hmm. He's one of the podcasters as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not mean to forget about them. I'm probably going to hear shit for that.
Good. I always get shit.
We have a member of Septus coming in as well.
Oh my God.
Not confirmed who, but...
That's right. You did tell me that, yesterday or today you told me that?
It was confirmed. Yeah, it was confirmed later in the chat.
Yes. And it's going to be a surprise. That's right. It's supposed to be a surprise on who it is. And we're not going to even know for different reasons.
Yeah, we're not going to know.
It's going to be a surprise.
Did not mean to leave them out. It wasn't confirmed. It wasn't. Didn't mean to leave them out. It wasn't confirmed.
To know, for people who want to know, it's, we do still like mini spurt interviews for each of the band members, but we're also just shooting the shit. That's pretty much what we do anyway. But there are questions that are thrown in there. There's no reason why we got to sound like stereo structures. Just go one after another.
And there is going to be maybe a game this year, maybe not. That's still in the works for prize.
You know what? The last time anyone went live with me playing games, it was not a good thing. Let me know what kind of game you got up your sleeve. You did it.
It's more for
the metal mashup. I'm calling this one out. Big John from the Metal Mashup. The first 4 times I ever went live. I never did it up, and he was the one who brought me on. Fucked with me.
It's more for the bands, not
Yeah. Okay. Good.
not the three of us.
Good. Good. Well, hopefully.
One of us will have to keep score, but
All right.
that was an
So,
idea.
yeah. So that's December 21st, and that is at what time again?
7 p.m.
There
Eastern.
you go. So you guys got to check that out. It's gonna be all the bands and us just hanging out. We're still gonna be doing interviews, but it's gonna be a lot more laxed. Just goofy and fun, but it's still gonna be an interview. And then, of course, I just announced an awesome show that I have been working on for the last couple months, actually longer, but that's a different story. But we finally just announced that on January 28th at the WC Social Club, we have Jungle Rot booked. And so Jungle Rot is going to be hitting the Savage stage, and they are, of course, our headliners, our co-headliners, are Blood of the Wolf, Chicago natives, and they're badass. They are badasses. Amazing, amazing co-hosts. I'm sorry, not co-hosts. Co-headliners, Oh, I just totally blanked. Oh my god, dude. I shouldn't be done. I feel like an ass. Oh, for the show on the 28th. And with that, with the show on the 28th, we also have, and I hate these initials, but I'm gonna say it. DTF. All right. Now, the first time those initials were dropped on me in a text just recently, Nick, I was mortified because I thought he was saying something totally different to me. That was last week, I think. It was like last week. No, a couple of weeks ago. And he's like, DTF. I'm like, what?
What did you think that meant?
Oh, why would you ask me to say that? Don't. Okay, skip that. I know. Okay, everyone knows. Down to fuck. Okay, I was like, what? And it didn't click in my head right away. And he's like, for the show. I'm like, who the hell's down? I'm like, oh my god, I don't even want to say it. And then it clicked in my head. I was like, wait a minute. I started scrolling through our fucking text messages, and this was literally like 3 weeks ago. And I'm like, oh my god, Darker Than Fiction. I texted him. I said, you are no longer from here on out ever allowed to text me those initials ever again. If you're gonna talk about the band, spell their name out or butcher it somehow. Because my mind is gonna go very far fucking left real quick. And it did. I mean, that was proof right there. Okay, and of course, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
You were announcing something else, so go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, the fourth band.
Yeah.
Yeah, Burned in Effigy. They are fucking hardcore. God, this is gonna be a killer fucking show, dude. Okay, think about it. We got Jungle Rot headlining this bitch, and they haven't done a show in months. And by the time they come on, that much longer. Technically it's January 28th. Again, it's a Saturday, always a Saturday, and the show starts at 8:30 on Saturday. Not this Saturday. This Saturday starts at 7:30. It's hard to keep all these bands and all the names straight, right? But it's gonna be a really cool show, and it's our first death metal show. And we, of course, I'm gonna come in hard. 2023, I do a lot with the cover scene. I do a lot with different ranges of the cover scene. Everyone knows I'm an 80s fanatic. That's not, no shock. And I'm game with, regular covers, regular cover bands also. But I haven't done anything hard yet. And I'm like, it's time. It's time. And why not start 2023 out with a killer fucking band? And we just announced Jungle Rot. Fuck yeah. And this is their hometown area, Chicago and Wisconsin. Boom, they're right fucking here. And we caught them just before they leave for tour. Yeah. And so, yeah, we're really stoked about that. And then the next month in February, 3 weeks later, February 18th, again, WC Social, we are having a cover night. It's actually going to be a trivia night. And I'm really, really stoked about it. And we have literally some of the best Chicago metal cover bands that are going to be at this show. Our headlining act is Chicago's none other than Blackened. Everybody knows Blackened, #1 in Chicago. Killer, amazing band. They've been around a long time. Very stoked. I've wanted them to headline for a long time, and now I get the chance. And no other than Made in Chicago, who's going to be co-headlining that show, and I'm stoked about that. I mean, they're very well known for being seen together in the scene, but there's a reason for that. They are the best in Chicago. and they just fucking, they're beautiful. You guys, you're beautiful. I'm just saying, you beautifully played together. We have 5 bands that night. We also have, now again, Scott Davidson, as everyone knows, I'm partners with him. He's involved strong in the scene. It's not just his radio station. It's not just, his, Rebel Bingo. He's in multiple bands himself. He's like in 5 bands, and one of them is a Judas Priest cover band called Judas Rising. Very well known. And he plays drums. He's badass at that, So Judas Rising is also playing. And then we have a Sepultura tribute band that is also playing called the Pale Gray Sky. Really stoked to see these guys. I've heard so much about them, and I can't wait to see them. And now, of course, it's going to be on a Savage stage. What I'm really also excited about this show is our opening act called Last Rites. These amazing teenage boys, 15, 16, maybe 17 years old, give or take, who are a cover band for fucking Megadeth. 15, 16 years old, destroying Megadeth. And they just literally came into the Chicago scene this year, like recently, like in the last couple months. And these kids just destroy it. And they're part of multiple bands. They're not just in their own band. Like, there's 4 boys in the band. 2 of them are brothers, from what I understand. Right, Jeff? I think. Yeah. 2 of them are brothers, but each one is in different bands. Otherwise, with adult bands that are in the cover scene. These kids are badasses. Dad, Mom, you did it right by putting a guitar in their hand at a young age, because at 15, they're professional level. Damn near it. These fucking kids are shredding. That's fucking beautiful parenting in my eyes. I'm sorry. I love that. So we're really stoked about that. So we got Last Rites. We got A Pale Gray Sky. We got Judas Rising. We got Chicago Maiden and Black End. That's going to be one hell of a cover night. Chicago has not had all 5 of those in one night. Not that style, for tribute. Not, the real bands. That doesn't count, for a tribute band. So I'm really excited to have it. It's going to be a fucking killer fucking night. And, so we got Jungle Rat, and we got the death metals show in January. We got the hardcore metal cover, tribute night in February. March, I have ideas. April, I'm still a little hesitant because that's right around when I'm going to kind of start looking towards the Sepsis tour area. So I don't want to pull out any weekend dates for the next 2-3 months. But I have other ideas. And okay, I'll drop a few hints. I lied. I definitely want to do some for our veterans. Everyone knows that I am very, very much all for all the men and women who have served, are currently serving, and who will yet be, will yet serve themselves. I'm all for it. I'm an auxiliary member myself. My dad is a Vietnam War vet, and I've been around this for a long time. I'm number 2 trustee in the Lombard, Illinois auxiliary VFW. And my dad has been a part of the scene for so long. I want to do something for the vets. So I want to have a show for the vets. I want to do shit. There's ideas that are flying around. Let's just say that. And it looks like everything's going to get pushed. It's just a matter of when. Because then the Substance Fall Tour is also coming around. But there's some really cool opportunities that Savages have been presented with. Also, which I can't really say yet. I can't say that one. But that one's still really cool. So there's 2023 is going to be very just boom. Like, here we are. It's starting. It's happening. And I feel like everything's still very surreal. Like, this is happening. Like, holy shit, what's next? And I'm like, and this is, if this is nothing, how far can I go? How far can I take this? How far can I bring the Savages? How far can I bring everybody? But how far can I really go? What am I really capable of? Things I never thought of 5 years ago that I could ever do. Never was a thought, except when I was a childhood. When I was a kid, I loved watching MTV when it was real MTV.
Yeah, exactly.
And I loved Jenny McCarthy for what she did, being a female, she does the live media PRs, she does the live media, she does the interviews live on the bands. I like doing that too, and I'm like, I would love to do that, but with a Howard Stern personality, because Howard Stern, he's a shock jock. Hello, hi, I'm Fran. Tell me I'm not the female shock jock version. I always wanted to be that type, but and I remember teasing certain friends that I was a kid with, and I'm like, that would be so cool to do something like that, but it was never something I pursued. I wanted to be a beautician. Go figure. Right?
Really?
Yeah. I wanted to be a beautician. And yes, everyone, my hair is 100% real and 100% natural and color. Nothing's fake. Everyone asks me all the time. It's all real. It's a mop.
Have you ever seen what do you call it? Beautician and the Beast?
Oh shit. No, you're not.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
you're not.
yeah. Let that sink in.
It just did.
Love you. I digress.
You're a dick. Fran Drescher. Yes, I did see Beautician and the Beast. I actually did love that movie. Yes. And I have mad respect for Fran Drescher. I do.
So, do you have any messages for the fans that's been following you since day one?
Since day one. You guys, thank you for supporting me and giving, having faith in me that I can do this and that I could do more. I mean, a lot of you had to push me because there were times and Rob can contest to this, that I thought about walking away.
Yeah.
And dropping the Savage name. And it was actually not too long ago. I need a lot of help. A lot of help. And I know not everyone has the same availability, but even some can make a difference on me. But everyone has their own, lives. I get it, but I don't know when to stop. That's my problem.
You?
I don't know when to stop. Even when everyone knows I'm a driver. I usually drive at night. Now I can't because I don't have headlights on my car. But somebody please take my car. Please take it. I don't stop, and I try to. It just doesn't work. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But I'm having some really good ideas, and Chris from the WC has been standing with me, and he's just like, let's see what you can do. If it's something you think you want to do, what can you do? And it's amazing the support that everyone has given me and, trusted in me and are now coming to me like, who the hell is this bitch? Where did she come? What she does? What, it's awesome to know that everything I have been doing is being acknowledged. Everything I have been now striving for. And now I actually have goals and ideas that I want to do more and help more and be there more for all the bands and the musicians, even the ones that are a pain in the ass. I love you, man. My advice is, especially, and you hear these all the time, the same ones. You're going to have haters. If you don't have haters, you're doing it wrong. I have so many, including ex-Savages, who talked shit, saying, oh, you're women. You're not musicians. You're just a bunch of groupies. Say it again. Just saying. Fuck you. When it comes down to it, no, I'm not. I'm very anti-dating, and everyone, I think, can testify to that. I'm very much like, stay away. You stay over there. And if there's a lucky few or a lucky one, oh no, you don't need to. Just saying. Don't stop. Let your haters be your fuel, your fire, your drive to move forward, to get the fuck up and say, watch me. Don't ever stop fighting for yourself, not for everyone else. Use them as the fuel that you need to build yourself. Not everything has to crumble. Be that phoenix. I was.
The question I ask every night, almost. Where?
Yeah, because you don't live on podcasts.
Podcast almost every day. Where can everybody follow you? Well, not in public.
Okay, this is really easy to follow me.
Not in public, guys.
Yeah, I don't need any help with stalkers. Thank you. Just stay over there, please. Stay over there. Actually, it's very easy to follow because I'm really terrible at going on multiple websites. And I know I should go on a shit ton more, but I don't. But first and foremost, we do have a merch store that you can definitely check out that has mass amounts of different types of shirts you can get. A lot of websites you can have 3 or 4 different style shirts. This one's got like 50. Not kidding. Your dog can buy a fucking shirt. If you're pregnant, they got maternity wear too. Just saying, get a Savage shirt. This one. But we also have one. Maybe if you're not a Savage or somebody is, Christmas is coming. Just saying, Christmas is coming. Everyone knows a bunch of metalheads. It could be your grandmother. Hey, there's a lot of grandmas killing it fucking out there, making us look bad still. They're in their mid-60s. Those are the hippies. The hippies are making us look bad. And, it could be your sister, your wife, your kid. You might have a 15-year-old daughter who's a fucking badass. Abigail. Just saying. Okay. That's a Savage. Doesn't matter how old they are. And we do have another line of Savage clothing that we will be adding to it. It should have been added like a year ago, but I keep running into issues. But it does. I mean, you can buy so much shit on there. There's so many things. You got to check it out. We have, I think it's 3 separate logos, different styles. One's transparent, one's not. Depends on what kind of clothing article it is. So you can definitely buy a lot of different kinds of merch. You can buy a fucking shower rug. You can buy anything on this website. So definitely check out our merch site. And it's called Cafe Press /SVGLM. If you don't know what SVGLM stands for, SVG, Savage, L, Ladies, M, Metal. Everyone always asks, what is that? So again, it's Cafe Press, CAFEPRESS / S is in Sam, V is in Victor, G is in girl, L is in Lake, M is in Mary. And check out all the Savage gear. Just check it out. There's a lot of really cool shit in there. Facebook, of course, everyone knows. #1 spot, unfortunately. And everyone knows how much I love Facebook. Yeah, and StreamYard. But it is really, Facebook is the mainstream. This is where you always find me. Because I have multiple pages. And let me explain this now. I have to. Because Facebook has been fucking with me for the last several years on my Facebooks. And I keep getting kicked out, blocked out, locked out. And I have to make a new one. And being a Savage, now that I have the Savage Ladies, I can't afford to be locked out of my own page. I don't want to start over. Okay? Not going to happen. I don't want to do it. So I had to come up with a couple of ideas. And I have gone through them. And one of them is having a second page. And sure enough, that page was barely used for a year. I had it for a year already. It had over 1,000 people on it, but I just would tag it. I never really was on it. And then sure enough, 2 months ago, Facebook took me out of my main page, which is the Fran LaSavage, SVGLM. I am blocked out of that page. But they said, this is what you can do to get back in, and it's not fucking working, okay? But so now I'm using my backup page. And that's the one I'm on now. So you find me on Facebook. And then, of course, there's the YouTube, the Savage Ladies of Metal YouTube. You find that. It's pretty self-explanatory, the name of that. We're on YouTube. We do our podcast for the bands every Sunday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And, typically it's I know a lot of the bands are hungover, or some of them are driving home from a show the next day. And they still get on there. Even when they're on the bus, they'll still get on that podcast. So I have respect for you guys fucking trooping that out with me. I really appreciate the bands, taking the time to do that for me. Other than that, well, I do have an Instagram. There's a story with everything with me. This is my life is entertaining. Instagram, I'm also blocked out of. Yeah, but I tagged the shit out of it because I have my own personal Instagram. Savage Ladies of Metal, I don't have access to. But Fran LaSavage on Instagram does exist. And you can find me there. So I'm just saying, if you see multiple pages or everything, that's why. It's still me. It's still me. But which page I'm kicked out of is the question.
So this is going to be on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And maybe TikTok later on.
Is that all? You're thinking about it.
Maybe LinkedIn. I'm not sure yet. I'm on every platform except for Twitter, so you can find me everywhere. Even the merch.
For now, you're not on Twitter. It's
no.
I do want to grow. For the record, I do want to do some more I do want to get on some more platforms. It's just I'm so between all the booking and all the work and just life and kids and all the promotions, dude, it's chaotic. It's hard to do everything. I can't do it all. That's another reason why I'm looking for Savages. If you're willing to step up and actually do more than just promotions, You can't get paid for, helping booking. You come to a show. You want to work the merch table. That's another way to make some extra money. I mean, there's so many ways you can make money as a savage. You just need to want it. You got to have the effort. You got to make the effort to do it. You can't just be like, well, I've been with you for 3 months. You put up 5 flyers a month. I'll buy you a beer. Not to be a dick, but calling that one out.
Yeah. But I was honored to have you on tonight, and this will be on every platform known to man. And I wish you a great night.
Thank you. And you too, Rob. Thank you for this opportunity.